Guys, welcome back to another episode of Imperial Diecast. I hope you didn't mind the gameplay videos I had uploaded the past few weeks, as I didn't have time to review things and didn't want to leave you with nothing, and I might do some more in the future to give you something to watch between my model reviews. But today, it's time for a 124 review, and I haven't reviewed an Audi in a while, so here's one I picked up not too long ago, and it's the Audi RS5 by Bburago. So this is the RS5 Coupe, because there's also the RS5 Sportback, which has 4 doors. And the RS5 is like the sportiest and most powerful variant of the second generation Audi A5, codenamed F5, with the Audi S5 being somewhere in between the A5 and the RS5. This car came out in 2017 and is still being made. And back then it costed something like 81,000 euros. Now this car's competitors are the BMW M4 and the Mercedes C63 AMG. The M4 GTS has been made by Maisto in 124, but the C63 hasn't. Instead, Maisto made a CL63 a long time ago, but that's a different car. Now I got this Audi RS5 in this color, known as Misano Red, back in August 2022 for €13.45, which I think was 10% off the MSRP of $14.95 or something. In just a couple of months, what with the inflation and everything, they raised the price to $16.95, and in some places it's even $20. Now this car has also been made in 1/43 scale by Spark, which originally retailed for €60, but in 2022 was reduced down to 15. And I could have picked that one up, but I ultimately decided to get it in 124 because it is bigger and has opening doors, and in terms of detail level, it's not that bad. I painted some extra details on mine though, but I'll let you know once we get there. So taking a look at the front of the 124 scale Audi RS5 Coupe by Bburago, I think that the front has been done really well. It really captures that new Audi look. You can see that of course we have the 4 rings of Audi that make up the logo, and this is not a sticker or a print on the grille. This is actually a separate sort of, well, it's not really a separate piece, but it's a little protruding piece on the plastic piece that makes up the grille, and overall it looks convincing. And to the left of it, you can see that it says RS5, and below the rings of Audi, we have a German license plate. I think it's Ingolstadt. It says RS5 202. And then right here in the middle, you can see that it has the crest of the state. Now the grille texture is also done very well. I think they call this a honeycomb grille. It looks convincing. And we have, of course, two further grills to either side, and then we have two small ones in the middle, so all of it looks very nice. Now, one thing that is missing is that down here, the chrome trim is supposed to be thicker, and it's supposed to say Quattro in the middle. The headlights look good enough. I personally used to be a fan of the older Audi generation's headlights, but these new angular ones are at least done convincingly on this model. There's no pegs, and the DRL is nicely visible. The RS5 Coupe is powered by a 2.9-liter TFSI V6 twin-turbo engine, producing 444 horsepower, which is interestingly an engine that's also used in the second-generation Porsche Panamera 4S. The top speed of the RS5 is 280 km per hour, and 0 to 100 acceleration takes 3.9 seconds. I think there's an upgrade package that makes it as fast as 3.8 seconds, but yeah. Unfortunately, you cannot open the hood on this modern Bburago. Taking a look at the side of the Audi RS5, you'll notice that the wheels on my model look kind of different. And that's because I actually had to do a lot of work to make them look like the real wheels of the RS5. You see, Bburago did not actually give us the proper wheels on their stock model. The wheels are completely silver, as you can see in this picture, and there's barely any detail with the exception of the Audi logos in the center. So what I did was, based on this picture, I realized that each of the 5 double spokes is actually supposed to be painted in black and the other spoke left in silver. And then there's also a black trim that continues around the head of the spoke, or the base of the spoke, I guess. And that's what I basically tried to do here. And it's not perfect, but I think it looks more realistic now. Now this black trim here is supposed to be carbon fiber on the real car. But Bburago just used matte black paint here, which I guess is understandable since they usually attach a separate plastic piece for carbon fiber, like on the mirrors or spoilers, while this bit here is integrated into the bodywork. So you'd ideally have to use some kind of textured sticker, which I can expect GT Spirit to do, but not Bburago, and not at this scale. So it's fine by me. So now as we check out the wheels in a bit more detail, you can see the Audi logo is right there in the center. It's got the 5 lug nuts, which I tried to sort of add some shading to by using a very thinned down black paint. Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any brake discs or calipers, unless that thing there at the very back is supposed to be the brake disc and caliper, but I doubt it. I don't think that is. Nah. So that's kind of disappointing, because even in 124 Maestos, you often expect, at least the newer ones, and especially the Bburagos, to have brake discs and calipers, but on this model, they don't. And here's a look at the back wheel. If you look closely, you can see that there's actually a carbon fiber pattern on the plastic mirrors. And right there in the center, there's actually a strip that I could have painted in silver for the indicator. So I might do that later. And over here, it says RS5. And taking a look at the top of the car, you can see that we have a very glossy looking top. Now this is made out of plastic, and it's actually very sensitive plastic, very easy to scratch, so I'd be very careful if I were you, because this thing is the first to get scratched. Which is unfortunate, because I'd have preferred a carbon fiber roof, because I think it's carbon fiber on the real RS5. Taking a look at the back of the 124 scale Audi RS5, you can see that the back looks pretty decent. The taillights aren't particularly visible because of the color of the car, they sort of blend in. But remember that Bburago also released a green version of this model, so on that one the taillights look a lot more impressive. We've got the rear license plate, and then above it we have the 4 rings of Audi, an RS5 written to the left. And then we have this boot lip spoiler, which is also carbon fiber on the real car, but here it's just matte black paint again. Bburago also gives us parking sensors on the back. And here's also where you will notice that I made another change to the back of the car, and that is the silver trim here was unpainted on the Bburago, and I used some silver paint to highlight it, just like I painted the exhaust tips in silver as well. So now I think that this looks more like the real thing. Now regarding the taillights, they look like they have a black peg off to the sides, but those are actually not pegs, because on the real RS5, they're actually holes. So Bburago made sure to include those little vents that were built into the taillights. It's kind of cool. Now, one downside of Meiteong Bburagos is that they have a very thick coat of paint, to the point where you can see the contours of the gas cap here are barely visible. So fine details like that, the parking sensors and tow hook cover almost disappear, but the paint itself is otherwise good quality. And now let's take a look at the interior of the Audi RS5, and you'll be surprised to see just how much detail Bburago put in here. Because take a look at this, we actually have a black interior, but it actually looks quite detailed. First of all, we have carbon fiber for the dashboard. It's a little hard to see, but I think it says Quattro there. You can see the air vents are done pretty nicely. They have some depth to them. And then we have the climate control buttons, although there is just some blank plastic in between. And underneath there's something else. And if you look at the infotainment screen, you can see that we have a picture of an Audi. And I think it even says RS5 there, which is a pretty high level of detail for 124. Down here we have cup holders, and we also have an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now if we take a look at the seats, they are done pretty well. Got some side bolstering. And there's 2 more back seats over there, if you can see them. There's also a rear console separating the 2 back seats from one another. And we have belt buckles, but everything is unpainted. So that's also pretty nice. Now the only thing that I added here to the interior is I painted these seat controls in silver. That's about it. The door cards also look pretty nice, because they've got the door handle painted in silver, and it's got a little bit of carbon fiber underneath, and the texture for the speakers right there. So yeah. Taking a look at the driver's side of the Audi RS5. Flat bottom steering wheel. It's got the Audi logo, and behind it we have the instrument binnacle with the speedometer and rev meter. Should be pretty readable. More carbon fiber texture. And that's about it. So pretty nice detail level for a 124 scale interior, I'd say. And taking a look at the bottom of the car, there's really not much going on here. It does say Bburago Audi RS5 Coupe 124 made in China. And I did paint the transmission detail over here a little bit, because this was completely unpainted, but they had included some detail. And here's another look at the exhaust tips. So I hope you guys liked my review of the 124 scale Bburago Audi RS5. I think it has a nice level of detail and looks good for a 124 scale model. If you're interested in more Audis that I've reviewed, make sure to check out some of these other videos over here. And as always, take care, have a wonderful day, and this is Imperial Diecast, signing out.